Hey, 49ers faithful. Today, we need to talk about one of the most shocking situations to hit San Francisco in recent years, and that's none other than the drama surrounding Brandon Aiyuk. If you've been following the Niners this season, you know that things with Aiyuk have been far from ordinary. It's not every day that a player essentially disappears from the team, leaves practices, and becomes completely unreachable for weeks. That is exactly what has unfolded, and it has caught everyone by surprise, from fans to analysts alike. Aiyuk's absence has led San Francisco to make a move that is almost unprecedented, placing him on the left team/reserve list, which effectively sidelines him for the remainder of the season. This isn't the kind of situation where a player storms off mid-game or leaves on a dispute over a single play. No, this is a situation that feels like something out of a completely different world, almost like he's in a witness protection program rather than being a professional athlete in one of the most high-profile sports leagues in the world. When news broke that Aiyuk had not been seen around the facility for over a month, fans and insiders were left scratching their heads. Kyle Shanahan confirmed that they had not seen him for weeks, which forced the organization's hand into making this roster move. By placing him on this list, the Niners have made it clear that Aiyuk will not return a play for them this season, and realistically, it signals the end of his tenure in San Francisco. This revelation has brought a mix of frustration, confusion, and sadness to fans who watched Aiyuk grow into one of the team's most dynamic and reliable playmakers over the years. Drafted in 2020, Aiyuk developed steadily, reaching career-high levels in 2 consecutive seasons with over 10,000 receiving yards and eventually earning All-Pro recognition. His progression made him one of the top wide receivers in the league, someone capable of dominating coverage and turning small plays into game-changing moments. It's difficult to see a player with so much talent and potential essentially walk away from a team that invested heavily in him and provided a platform for him to flourish. Adding to the complexity of the situation is the financial angle. The Niners decided to void Aiyuk's 2026 guarantees, meaning he is walking away from roughly $25 million without pursuing any form of dispute with the NFL Players Association. That alone speaks volumes about his desire to move on and his complete disengagement from the organization. While the contract was significant, offering both guaranteed money and a strong annual salary, the relationship between player and team has clearly broken down to the point where no amount of money could repair it. For San Francisco, this decision is costly in multiple ways. If they release or trade Aiyuk, they will face dead cap hits in both 2026 and 2027, creating a financial burden even as they gain some flexibility in cap space. Over the next few years, the Niners could potentially recover over $80 million in cap room. But the price paid in lost talent and disrupted team chemistry is something numbers alone cannot quantify. What makes this story even more compelling is the human element. Brandon Aiyuk's cryptic social media posts have kept fans guessing about his mindset, but the lack of clarity only adds to the intrigue. From partnering with car brands to posting messages that are nearly impossible to interpret, his behavior off the field has mirrored the chaos of his absence from it. The signs were there for some time, with analysts and insiders noting his apparent dissatisfaction with the team. Yet even as negotiations were ongoing and trades were considered, it became clear that Aiyuk's focus was no longer aligned with the team's goals. Attempts to trade him to Cleveland and New England fell through because he refused to go, a decision that has intensified the sense that this is a complete separation rather than a temporary disagreement. From a football perspective, losing Aiyuk significantly impacts the Niners' offense. He was designed to be a top option alongside Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel, a wide receiver capable of creating separation against both zone and man coverage. His absence leaves the team with fewer options to stretch the field and forces adjustments in play calling that may limit offensive explosiveness. Aiyuk's combination of route running, footwork, and ability to gain yards after the catch made him a nightmare for defenses and a perfect complement to other offensive weapons. The offense has still performed admirably in his absence, especially with Brock Purdy back at quarterback, but the potential upside with Aiyuk on the field remains tantalizingly out of reach. The dynamic duo of Aiyuk and Samuel would have created matchup problems for virtually any defense, and it's hard not to imagine how different games could have been if this partnership had continued uninterrupted. Off the field, the situation has sparked conversations about player well-being, guidance from agents, and the pressures that young stars face in professional sports. Aiyuk's decisions have been criticized by some as immature or short-sighted, but there is also an element of concern for his personal and mental health. Analysts have pointed out that the stress of navigating contract negotiations, injuries, and public scrutiny can take a toll on even the most talented athletes. While fans are focused on the team's performance and the financial implications, there is a human story behind the headlines. One that reminds us that professional athletes are not just contracts and statistics, but people navigating complex careers under immense pressure. From a historical perspective, the San Francisco 49ers are one of the most respected and well-run organizations in all of sports, with a brand recognized worldwide. The team's history of success, from the Joe Montana and Jerry Rice era to the dominance of the Niners in the 80s and 90s, has built a global fan base. Losing a homegrown talent like Aiyuk under these circumstances is particularly painful because it contrasts sharply with the organization's reputation for excellence and player development. Fans who have grown up idolizing the team see this not just as a lost talent, but as a rupture in the legacy that makes the Niners unique. It's a story that mixes frustration, disappointment, and a sense of what might have been if the relationship between player and team had been nurtured differently. Looking ahead, the Niners must navigate the remainder of the season without Aiyuk, while also preparing for the future and potential roster moves. The team remains strong, with a record that positions them for the playoffs and a chance to contend for the top seed in the NFC. Yet, the absence of a player of Aiyuk's caliber is undeniably felt, and questions linger about how his departure might shape team dynamics, chemistry, and offensive strategy. Fans are left to debate the merits of contract handling, player decision-making, and the sometimes unpredictable nature of professional sports careers. This is a moment that blends talent, ambition, and human complexity, and it will be remembered as one of the more intriguing off-field stories in recent NFL history. As we continue to follow this situation, it's clear that Brandon Aiyuk's story with the Niners is one of talent, promise, and ultimately, conflict. The player who once represented hope and excitement for San Francisco fans is now a figure of mystery and controversy. The organization, with its history and resources, will adapt and continue to compete, but the chapter of Aiyuk's time in red and gold has come to a definitive end. Fans, analysts, and players alike will watch closely as this saga unfolds, reflecting not only on what has been lost, but also on the lessons that emerge from a fractured relationship between a player and one of the league's most storied franchises. Continuing with the Brandon Aiyuk saga, it's important to understand just how unusual this situation is in the modern NFL. Rarely do we see a player simply vanish from the team's radar for an entire month, leaving coaches, teammates, and fans completely in the dark. It is not the typical holding out scenario where negotiations drag on or minor disputes arise. Aiyuk's disappearance is far more extreme, and it has forced the 49ers to make decisions that would normally be unimaginable. Kyle Shanahan, who has been instrumental in Aiyuk's development from a promising rookie to an all-pro wide receiver, openly acknowledged the uncertainty surrounding his absence, emphasizing that no one knows what's going on behind the scenes. This level of ambiguity in professional sports is rare, and it has left everyone involved questioning not only Aiyuk's intentions, but also the broader implications for team chemistry and morale. For the 49ers, the situation represents both a challenge and an opportunity. On one hand, losing a player of Aiyuk's talent is undeniably detrimental to the offense. His ability to create separation, beat man coverage, and gained significant yards after the catch made him a cornerstone of the passing game. With Christian McCaffrey handling the backfield and Deebo Samuel stretching defenses in multiple directions, Aiyuk's presence was expected to elevate the offense to a level few teams could match. Without him, Shanahan and his staff must adjust their schemes, relying on the depth of their roster and the versatility of other receivers to fill the void. It is a strategic puzzle, and one that will test the coaching staff's ability to adapt under pressure. Yet in the midst of this disruption, there is also an opportunity. Placing Aiyuk on the left team reserve list frees up significant cap space in 2026 and beyond. While the financial hit is unavoidable, the added flexibility allows the Niners to explore other options, whether through free agency, trades, or internal development. In a league where cap management is critical to long-term success, this could be a silver lining amid a very challenging scenario. Aiyuk's personal journey adds another layer of complexity to this story. His cryptic social media activity, including posts that appear unrelated to football, has left fans and analysts speculating about his state of mind. Some posts have focused on cars or other lifestyle interests, yet the underlying tone has consistently hinted at dissatisfaction with the organization. For years, Aiyuk was considered a homegrown hero, someone who embodied the team's spirit and connection to the fanbase. Drafted in 2020, he quickly developed into one of the most productive wide receivers in the league, culminating in an all-pro season in 2023. His trajectory suggested a long-term partnership with the Niners, one that would see him at the forefront of the offense for years to come. Instead, the relationship deteriorated to the point where he is now effectively a free agent in practice, if not officially, walking away from both guaranteed money and the opportunity to contribute to a playoff-caliber team. On the field, the Niners remain strong despite this loss, sitting at 10-4 and in contention for a top seed in the NFC. Brock Purdy has provided stability at quarterback, and players like Christian McCaffrey continue to perform at elite levels. Yet the offense misses the unique threat that Aiyuk provided. His ability to challenge defenses vertically, create mismatches in the slot, and convert critical third downs was integral to the team's strategy. The hypothetical pairing of Aiyuk and Deebo Samuel on the field simultaneously would have presented matchup nightmares for any defense. Analysts have noted that this combination could have transformed certain games, potentially altering playoff seeding and even championship prospects. Shanahan and his staff must now recalibrate, finding new ways to maintain efficiency and explosiveness without one of their top weapons. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to 49ers Zone and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the San Francisco 49ers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In what could become one of the most talked about moves in recent NFL history, whispers are swirling around the sudden departure of the San Francisco 49ers star player, leaving fans and analysts alike scrambling for explanations. Head coach Kyle Shanahan, visibly restrained but candid, recently addressed the situation, stating, "I can't do anything." He wanted to leave. The blunt acknowledgement has only fanned the flames of speculation, suggesting that the split was not a matter of internal pressure or team dissatisfaction, but rather a personal decision on the part of the player himself. Insiders hint that the departure may be tied to a combination of ambition and frustration, though no official statement has clarified the motivations in detail. Rumors point to potential contract disputes, desire for a larger role in another team's offense, or even personal reasons that might have influenced the sudden choice. Shanahan's public comments, while sparing in detail, underscore the helpless position coaches often face when a marquee athlete chooses to chart a new path. Fans have taken to social media, debating whether the 49ers' strategy moving forward will be impacted more by roster gaps or by the psychological ripple effects within the locker room. The broader NFL landscape is now ripe with speculation about where the star might land. Analysts have started crafting potential trade scenarios, pointing to teams with deep playoff ambitions and ample salary cap space as the most likely destinations. Meanwhile, betting markets are reportedly reacting to the uncertainty, with odds shifting almost daily as insiders hint at private negotiations. It's a drama that combines both business and human elements, the type that fuels trade rumors for weeks, if not months. Even within the 49ers organization, questions abound. Will Shanahan pivot his game plan to compensate, or is this an opportunity to reshape the roster entirely? The coach's statement leaves little room for doubt. The decision was entirely the players', and any blame for the departure cannot fall on the team's leadership. That alone is enough to ignite endless speculation, as fans and sports pundits alike try to read between the lines of what might have been a quietly brewing story. As the league watches closely, one thing is certain. The saga of this star's exit from San Francisco will dominate conversation, fueling rumors, potential trades, and endless analysis as the NFL community waits to see what unfolds next. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the San Francisco 49ers, make sure to subscribe to 49ers Zone and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.